decade is a long time in the world of cars, and in the 10 years or so since BMW gave us this, the rather quirky i3, they've learned a lot about all-electric vehicles. And so now this has come along. This is the BMW i4, and they've gone back to doing what they do best. This is BMW building the ultimate driving machine. Now, the first thing that you'll notice about this BMW i4 is that it looks like a BMW. Looks very similar to its 4 Series cousin. And that's because, well, car manufacturers everywhere have realized that even though they want you to drive the future, there's nothing wrong with making their cars look like the rest of their range. It makes us feel good about our purchase. You'll see the same, for example, in the iX, the SUV version in the all-electric BMW lineup. So talking of how this looks like a BMW, shall I start with the kidney grills? Well, that's very BMW, isn't it? And if you're still on the internet whinging about the size of kidney grills on BMWs, I suggest you turn the page because I think they actually look pretty good. They're housed under the BMW badge with a nice blue ring around it, which denotes that this is a full electric vehicle. And then as you head around, you've got these incredibly powerful full LED headlamps on this i4 M50 trim, which is the very top of the EV lineup for BMW i4s. And when you turn them on at night, you can see 200 meters down the road. Safety, of course, above all else. As you swing around the front bonnet, you've got these lovely 19-inch alloy wheels underneath the wheel arch. And actually, if you go further into the mechanics of the car, you'll find an all-electric motor on that front axle, as well as a full electric motor on the rear axle, combined giving you over 500 horsepower of thrust. That means that this car is extraordinarily quick. It'll argue with an M3 or an M4 quite well. And we'll explore what the driving dynamics of an i4 M50 is like when we take it out on the road in a little while. Now, obviously, it's got a swooping windscreen down into a slight slope towards the rear of the hatch, because this is an all-electric vehicle. Drag reduction means that you get more range out of your EV, and so there are subtle changes in design to make sure that that's the case, and to hopefully get you to the over 300 miles or so that BMW claim that you'll get from a 100% charge. Real world, you'll probably get a little bit less than that, but nonetheless, they've put these lovely little aerodynamic cues on things like the wing mirror, where you'll also find the camera to help you 360 surround when parking, something we'll have a look at when we get inside. Door handles flush to your doors. They don't pop out like in other EVs, but you just put them up like that and then you get. I will say I struggle a little bit with the door handles, but I think that's more of a me thing than a car thing. And then towards the back, well, you need to charge this at some point, don't you? Underneath what looks like a petrol cap, nice and easy. But the engineers in Bavaria have done a wonderful thing here. They've added little plastic tabs to open up your AC and DC charging ports, which is better than sometimes you get a little kind of string thing that holds those little covers in place on other EVs. So I quite like that. And 82 kilowatt hour battery. So if you do find yourself a 200 kilowatt fast charger out there in the world, you'll go from 10 to 80% in half an hour. All very good. Now, obviously, this is designed to get you places, and when you go places, you usually take things. So let's have a look at the boot space. The rear of the i4 is plenty big enough, so you get 470 litres worth of space in the boot, and if you pop the rear seats down, which you can do in a 60-40 split, it goes up to 1,270 litres worth of space. Plenty enough for your day-to-day. Now, this doesn't have a frunk like some other EVs, but frankly, I don't think you're gonna need it. Now, as you can see, the hatch opens all the way up, giving you all the room and maneuverability that you want. And the lip, well, actually, it's not that aggressive, so it shouldn't stop you getting things in and out. And it compares overall really favorably to this i4's peer group. So the Tesla 3, the BYD Seal, the Polestar 2, and now the Polestar 4. So actually, it really comes down to personal preference, because space is not going to be an issue in this at all. And once you've packed your boot, it's got an electric tailgate, meaning that the whole thing will just come down and close without too much effort, meaning you can jump in the front and drive away full of confidence that your boot lid is in fact closed. And that is what we're going to do right now. Looking to buy your next car? At Big Motoring World, we have thousands, yes, thousands of cars across our forecourts because we're big on choice and we're big on what matters to you. Now, if you're looking to sell your car, we will give you a 7-day guaranteed valuation if you sell the car to bigwantsyourcar.com. This means when you send us a picture of your car, we don't chip you down on price like some others. And with no admin fees and instant bank transfers, you get the money straight away. Cha-ching! And did I mention that we also pick up your car free of charge? Before we take the BMW i4 M50 for a drive, seems prudent to talk about the interior. So the first thing to note is it is very BMW. What do I mean by that? Well, actually, you can step into almost any BMW in the range and they all kind of look like this. But this has a number of speciality bits, if you like, that make the i4 slightly different. First of all, performance steering wheel, nice, proper BMW, nice and grippy. The seats that I'm sitting in, well, they are M Sport seats, but they're not the performance seats that you'd find in the M3 or the M4, although you can spec that in an i4, but they're really comfortable, really wholesome on your back end, fully electric. You can change your lumbar support and all that type of thing, which is great. You'll notice that the seats are clad in a nice soft red leather. And interestingly, that red pretty much matches the brake calipers under the 19-inch alloy wheels, which is a nice little touch. Makes no difference to your life, but I like it. Now, in terms of the technology and all the aids and everything, well, it's good. You've got a 12.3-inch instrument cluster in front of you. It's all digital and seamlessly moves into your infotainment, which is 14.3 inches worth of digital goodness. Now, of course, in front of you, it will show you how fast you're going, how much e-power you're using, so how much of the battery you're using, and then of course it will show you your range and your battery percentage that is remaining as well. All useful stuff, and you can play around with that to show you certain other things as well. You know, how well you're driving in terms of how much range you are or are not using, depending on how spirited you're driving. And with an M50 version of this, there's a chance you're going to be driving in a slightly more spirited fashion than not. Now, the infotainment system is an evolution of BMW's iDrive, and I like it. It is touchscreen, but you can also use the classic rotary dial to move yourself around your menu and your options. I really like that they haven't gone full touchscreen. I think it's really important to have that option. So your home screen is nice and easy to use. It's nice and clear. You can play around with it. You access your climate control through here as well. And while it's a little bit fiddly, at least you don't have to use it to pop where your aircon wind direction is coming from. Where it does start to get slightly fiddlier is when you go into your many apps and options screen. So lots of choice, exactly the same as Big Motoring World, because we are big on choice. And because this is Big Motoring World and a review, we've got to talk about ambient lighting. It is a favorite of ours. Again, fairly standard BMW. You can change your color and change your brightness, reduce for night driving, that type of thing. But overall, it's really good. You've got a personal assistant, so you can talk to it and it won't understand what you're saying. But overall, really, really good. And there's some other bits in there that we'll explore while we're driving. Wireless charging pad for your phone. And of course, you can connect Apple CarPlay and Android Auto to this, no problem at all, even though the BMW system is really good. Select your drive through your shifter. Again, really similar to BMW, exactly the same as all the other BMWs, really. So reverse, go nowhere, neutral, drive, that is all done through here. And then where you'd normally pop your stick to the left to put it into sports mode, that actually pops it into a more regenerative braking mode. So that's available through here as well. And then of course, Sport, Comfort, Eco Pro, turn ASC off and your driving aids and surrounding cameras off from here as well. This has got a 360 camera option, which is lovely. You can access all of that through here, but make sure you use the windows as well. Let's have a little trip into the back just to see what it's like for rear passengers, and then we can finally get this out on the road. Now, when you're a passenger, obviously you are worried about space and comfort. So here in the back of the i4, happy to say that comfort is definitely here. The seats are still comfortable, but space, well, it's not cramped, but it's not kind of, you know, acres of space. The driver's seat is in my position. I'm about 5'8", so I'm not the tallest. I'm fairly average, frankly, but there's still enough room, and you can pop your feet under the driver's seat should you wish. Something I do need to draw attention to, there is this central transmission tunnel that is really protruding from the middle here. Bit weird because obviously EVs, well, they don't usually have a transmission tunnel, but this is undoubtedly a carryover from the fact that this shares an awful lot with the 4 Series, the 5 Series and the X5. So I imagine it's more of a manufacturer thing than anything else. So if you are in the middle, you're going to have to kind of pop your feet either side. But what you do get here is climate control of your very own as a passenger, which is good, very, very useful. So if the front want to boil themselves, but you want to be nice and cool at the back, then that is great. Otherwise, comfort is good. The privacy glass does block out quite a bit of light. All 4 doors are frameless, so very sporty indeed. This is the type of car that could benefit from a panoramic roof, but it's not the end of the world. Obviously, you've got this central rest here where you've got your space for cups. So they go in the holders there, plenty of room. But overall, it's a really comfortable place to be as a passenger. But really, it's time to hop back into the front seat and see what this ultimate driving machine is all about. Welcome aboard the i4. So the first thing to note is the driving position is spectacularly comfortable and does hug you in position. So like most BMWs, and they do claim to be the ultimate driving machines, and it really does make you feel powerful, in control. You have everything at your fingertips, and in front of you of this digital instrument cluster display is your speedo and how much power you're using. Now it's currently in comfort, don't worry, we are going to pop it into sport and see just what it's capable of. Now, I've currently got this hooked up to Apple CarPlay because I own an iPhone, and it's really, really good, really, really easy to navigate, and overall doesn't feel any different to their ICE products. It feels like a BMW 4 Series dynamically. The chassis is nice and stiff, but it has that compliant feel where you can feel the road underneath you. It doesn't feel as heavy as it is. This is a 2-ton car, so it's definitely heavier than the 4 Series if you wanted it with an engine in the front. But of course, this is an EV. So you've got all the power under your foot pretty much instantly. Now, EVs have been on the road for a while. BMW have been selling us EVs since way back when the i3 was given to us, and obviously this i4 alongside the iX and now the i5 has got everybody looking at BMW as a serious EV player. And so they should. It feels every inch a BMW. And I like the fact that BMW have gone back to their heritage and they've looked across their lineup. They've gone, let's just take what makes our cars fantastic, great driving, great feel, great quality materials, but we'll just pop a battery in it. Now, as I said, this has got 200 horsepower at the front, give or take, and then 300 at the back. So it is driven through all 4 wheels, but it definitely does still feel like you're being pushed along rather than pulled along through the front too, which is nice. So all electric, it does that wonderful thing of being very quiet. There's hardly any noise coming from the tires. There's very little wind noise, which means 2 things. It feels luxurious, but also that must mean it's doing a good job when talking about drag coefficient. Remember, this is having to plow through the air, displacing as much as possible without hitting into it so that it gives you a decent range. All the bongs and sounds, and more importantly, the artificial engine sound that is pumped into this cabin has all been scored by the legendary composer Hans Zimmer. They gave him the keys to the Bimmer so that he can make sounds like this. Hey, it's quick as hell. Cameraman, you all right?
No.
No, he's just seen his lunch. 0 to 60 in shy of 3.9 seconds out of this thing. And it is M3, M4 quick. It's not quite as quick as a Tesla Plaid, but on the roads of the United Kingdom, you really don't need any more than this. I mean, it is just a rocket ship, and it is quite the experience. Now, if you don't want to listen to that, and I don't know why you wouldn't, and you want to listen to your standard tunes, then this comes equipped with Harman Kardon sound system, which is fantastic. And obviously, if you want to know more about sound systems, we did a whole video on it at Big Motoring World, and you can click on the link in the description or the little card that pops out above my head to learn more about all the different sound systems and what they can do for you. So the gear selector in the middle on BMWs with a combustion engine, usually when you pop it to the left when in drive, will pop you into manual sports mode in an automatic. This, where you pop it into B, and what that means is the regenerative braking on this car goes up a notch. So let's just get around this scooter. So as I take my foot off the gas, oh, there you go, you can really aggressively see that it's hitting the brakes. It really turns it into almost one pedal driving. Also regenerates the electric power in the battery. Now, while speed is obviously a thing that BMW take seriously, so is safety, and this has got all the things that you would imagine that it's got. It's got automatic braking if it thinks you're not paying attention to the road ahead. It's got blind spot assist on the mirrors. This is obviously the M50 trim, which is the very top of the tree, which means when it was brand new, it would have set you back, if you'd gone for all the options and extras and all the bells and all the whistles, around about £80,000. This at Big Motoring World, with just 15,000 miles on the clock, is going to set you back shy of 40. And obviously there is a big choice on how you can pay for that. And if you want to know more about how you can finance your cars, then you can head over to the Big Motoring World website, which I encourage. You can adjust the instrument cluster in front as you drive as well, and it shows you just how well you are driving. So at the moment, we're getting 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour out of this car, but admittedly, we haven't driven it very far, and there's been elements where I've stamped on the accelerator. But overall, it is a very informative set of screens in front of you, which is good. A lot of driving an EV, you have to kind of retrain your brain, because obviously if you're putting petrol or diesel into a car, then you're looking at miles per gallon, and that gives you an idea of kind of how economically you're driving, whereas in an EV, it's miles per kilowatt hour. So for example, it's giving me my live kilowatt hour driving efficiency. You take your foot off the gas, you're getting 99.5, but I've been hovering around 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. And then if you divide your range by that number, that should give you roughly how far you're going to get between charges. Now, I know the conversation has been had to death, but you buy an EV, you worry about charging, and it's getting pretty good. I mean, it's really good. So at home, if you do choose to have a home charging point put in, they're usually up to 7.5 kilowatt hour chargers, which means you'll charge a car like this in around about 7 or 8-ish hours overnight if it's the 7.5 kilowatt hour option, and it tends to be able to be done overnight, which is great. If you're out and about, then you've got the fast charging infrastructure, which is really good. Mentioned earlier, if you find a 200 kilowatt hour charger, then you'll go from 10 to 80% charge, which is all you need, in about half an hour. And this will charge up to that 200 kilowatt hour fast charging speed, but you know, you'll find plenty between 100 and 200 kilowatt. And that's fine. You plug in, you pop in, grab yourself a coffee or go to the toilet or whatever, and that's perfectly fine. They're adding fast chargers all over the country all the time. 10, 15,000 a year. And you can charge at supermarkets as well as service stations and motorway service stations as well. So it's only getting better owning an electric vehicle. Much like the composer Hans Zimmer brings together all different moving parts of an orchestra to create a beautiful symphony, well, BMW i4, certainly M50, does the same thing. It brings together cabin quality. It's definitely lovely to be in here. Speed, performance, wonderful infotainment and instrument cluster, heads-up displays. It just brings it all together in a beautiful harmony of Bavarian Motorworks symphonic brilliance. It is a fantastic, fantastic car. The BMW i4 in this wonderful M50 spec. It really was everything that I wanted it to be. It's fast, it's incredibly comfortable, and it makes you feel like $1 million when you're behind the wheel. They really have built one of the ultimate driving machines. Now, if you are looking for a BMW i4, then head over to Big Motoring World's website, where you can look at our entire range of these incredible things, or maybe you're looking for a different type of EV. No matter what you're looking for, head over to Big Motoring World, because we're big on choice and we're big on what matters to you.